Meet Kenny. Kenny was able to secure over 156K in business funding with working with us, and he's now used this to purchase a truck and to hire a driver that he was not able to do before because he's been working for someone else for 25 years doing the same thing. Now he's his own boss. Now, while that sounds amazing, I do have to let you know that Kenny was extremely skeptical with working with us. Let's go ahead and tell the people you were skeptical.
Oh
You
yes,
were.
no doubt. On the first call, I told you, I'm like, okay, you told me what the expectations were, what you can do, and your time frame. It sounded good. It was great. But I had another call with someone, so I said, let me think about it.
He went from frightened to funding, if you will.
I would say not even 30 days. I was funded, I think, a hundred, over 100K, maybe like something like that, over 100K in
Yeah, yeah,
less than
yeah.
30 days. Yeah, it's 100 years. 100, it's 130K in less than, man, in less than 30 days.
So, how did this all start? Kenny was in a tough spot. He had a 790 plus credit score, but he didn't know where to start. He's been in transportation his entire career, managing logistics for other companies. But once his employer shut down their operation in Florida, he decided it's time to go all in on his own business.
Well, I have a freight, transportation consultant company.
Nice.
And I was, new, just getting it started. And I was, looking at an option about funding. I've depleted all my savings and now I'm stuck. I don't have
Yes.
to do this. I'm not gonna be in that situation. I know I have that bucket. I'm like, I'm sitting pretty. I'm just all smiles. I'm like, I'm in a great position, to get what I need to, elevate my business and get it to that next level.
But now that leaves us with how is he going to get funding for his own business now that he's decided to go this route, right? Well, he looked into other funding companies, and unfortunately, he found that most of them did not have business relationship managers that were legit that could actually help him. Most people had no structure, no mentorship, and no guidance when it came through the actual process of getting funding for their companies. So, after going back and forth for a while, let's be honest here, Kitty knows this. After going back and forth for a while, we decided that we were going to make this work. We just had a few contingencies between ourselves, but we made the deal happen and it was time to get started. But he knew, he'll tell you himself, once he started, everything changed. He saw how organized the process was, how much work was being done for him, how we created his game plan for him, gave him step by step instructions, and now he knew he had access to real business relationship managers. Listen to him say so himself.
I was still skeptical, but I felt more at ease and I to work with you. After, dealing, looking at the other companies, I said, you know what? I like this guy. I mean, I just everything, just how did the program and the circle, what we have access to. I like that. Other company, they didn't offer that. I said, okay, we're just gonna do this and do this and do this. And I'm like, nah, I need to be involved every step of the way. I mean, I had that call, and from the moment I spoke to Sam and we did some things, I was blown away. I was like, whoa, it's fast. I mean, it's the truth, man. It works. This system works, and you put in the work and do what you got to do. This system works. I made the right decision.
So, boom, what you guys actually want to hear about are the approvals, right? So, as you see, we got Kenny two business credit cards from Chase Bank at a total at 65K, one approval at 50K, and the other approval at 15K. Totaling them up, that's 65K at 0% interest. What would you be able to do with 65K at 0% interest for your company? Just listen to what he had to say about that.
Chase got my application on Wednesday. Friday morning, the manager called me and said, "Kenny, you approved." I was like,
Boom.
"Whoa, let's go!" I was approved, and I was approved in about 48 hours. I was approved. I mean, and I was like, "Wow!" So the system works. I'm testify to that. This system works. You got to do your work, and if you don't do your work and expect it to come like that, it ain't gonna work. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. Trust me. Oh man, you do the work, you're gonna get this money. I mean, you're gonna be blown away like I was. I have the funds now. I can be able to go out, and I don't have to settle, for mediocre equipment or things like that. I can go out and get exactly what I need, which is going to
Mm.
put my business in the front line. And with my advertising, I don't have to come out my pocket. I have the fund to get all the advertising, my equipment, and just get everything's onboarded and stuff like that with no worries.
So, yes, as you hear, it was time to go to American Express, where he was instantly approved for two business credit cards with American Express, both for 19,300. So, right then and there, he also had access to 38,600 at 0% interest just with American Express. And he planned on using this funding for his startup costs and the early operational expenses, like I said, getting his truck and then hiring his driver, which he was able to do just with these two banks, but we weren't even finished yet. But that was part of the strategy to make sure that he had enough funding to fund everything he needed to get started. But also, you don't want to have just enough, right? So we went for more. I'll even put all his approvals on the screen right now. You add that up, that's a total of over 156K in funding that he was able to secure with working with us. Although I'm going through it and I'm making it sound easy, just to let you know, it's not as easy. Remember, Kenny had a 790 plus credit score and he still didn't know exactly what to do, right? So it's not just about having the credit score and it's not just about knowing the banks. Getting this type of funding in a short period of time, because we did this within 45 days, the only way that you can accomplish that is by knowing exactly which banks to go to, how to structure your personal profile, having the right connections so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your home and still seek approvals.
He's telling me, Kenny, he's giving me a play by play, my game plan, that game plan, the information that you give on the drive, that game plan. This is what we're doing. I know exactly where I'm at. There's no fudge. There's nothing. I'm not at a loss. The information that I'm giving the banks have for me, and I'm giving them is what you give me, and it's right there in black and white. There's no gray area. It's right there. And I follow that play by play, and you know, it works. Communication and your information. It's just the information. It's a lot of information and good information. I was approved. I mean, and I was like, wow. So the system works. Testify to that. This system works. I mean,
Yes,
Colin and his
sir.
team, they on top of it. It works. It works. It works. It's everything that you said you did. We got done. And we're still going up. We're still going.
Kenny's story proves that with the right relationships, with the right sequencing, and with the correct funding strategy, the possibilities of getting access to a massive amount of funding are endless. Oh, guess what, guys? I almost forgot to mention the most important part. Kenny's business was less than 1 years old, meaning his LLC was established for less than 1 year. So this is essentially what we would refer to as a new business. So Kenny essentially was able to get access to 150K plus in funding with a brand new business. Now, as I always do, now that we've gotten that part out of the way, just understanding Kenny's story and how we got to this point, let's talk about the actual approvals and the mindset around them. So, one, again, we started with Chase. Why did we go with Chase? Because Chase is great when it comes to newer businesses and newer relationships. And it's a tier one bank. So, it's a bank that you definitely want to add to your funding strategy 9 times out of 10, unless you have a burnt relationship with Chase or just for some reason that you don't qualify for funding with them for any other reason, right? But the thing is that he actually had a personal credit card with Chase. So that's definitely one of the banks that we were going to go to. And we sent him to a business relationship manager. Now, keep in mind, when I say that Chase is a great bank to go to, that doesn't mean that you're going to just apply online and you're going to get max results. There still is a strategy involved with getting results, like Kenny got a 65K total approval. Now, second, you have American Express. The strategy that we go with when it comes to American Express differs. Sometimes we'll go with two of the 0% cards. Sometimes we'll go with the American Express Gold. Sometimes the American Express Platinum. Sometimes a combination of all of them. Sometimes some of the hotel branded cards like the Marriott or Hilton business credit cards that American Express has. And sometimes we'll even go with the airplane card, the airline cards like the Delta card that American Express has, or a combination of the both. But for this specific strategy, we decided to go with the two American Express 0% business credit cards based on what Kenny was going for his business. And we were able to do this, get two of those cards approved, 19.3 for both of them right out the door. So again, there was even strategy involved with that. So at this point, he had already met his funding goals, but why would we stop there? We already have Kenny in here. It's time to go ahead and go for more than that, right? So we went with Bank of America. He was able to get approved for 20K with Bank of America. That's going to be 0% interest for 9 months. And then we went with a US Bank business credit card, which was an AK approval, but he could have gotten more. Again, at this point, the client had already met his goals. So that's going to be a card that he actually gets down the road because he already has that relationship now with our business relationship manager, where she's an email away. He could just literally reach out to her and get another approval with them. And I don't want to forget, we went for a 25K loan too as well. So that way, Kenny's utilization on the personal side would be absolutely pristine. So we knew that we would get those higher approvals. Again, there is strategy involved. A lot of you guys that would be doing this yourselves, you would not know to actually go for that loan first and pay down your cards, and which amount to pay down a card to, which card to even pay down if you need to, and what utilization that each bank is looking for. Also, we also went for business checking accounts with Chase. We went for business checking accounts with Bank of America and US Bank in this whole funding sequence.
So the system works. I'm telling you. Don't
Oh,
wait. The longer you wait, the longer it take to get this money. Anybody else listen, like I said, if you're thinking, you better jump in. Jump in. You don't got nothing to lose. You're gonna get this money. You're gonna get this money.
but if you've heard enough, you're tired of waiting around, you're tired of seeing which funding company you want to work with, you're tired of needing funding for your business, and you don't know which direction to go to, you want this done right. You want your inquiries to be optimized. You don't want just a ton of inquiries, somebody that's just going to apply for random banks without any strategy. Well, what more else do you have to see than working with us? Go ahead and hit the link down in the description to set up a call with me or my team, and we'll see if we're a good fit. We'll hop on a call, talk about your specific funding strategy, how we're going to execute it, and how to get you like Kenny, where you can go from being skeptical, where he didn't even want to sign up. He was super skeptical to the point where he got approved for over 150K with a brand new business. That choice is up to you. Go ahead and hit the link down below to schedule a call with us. And if you like this video, I'm sure you would like this video too as well. That's on the screen.